Right. Well,
very, very,
for
very.
instance, Vinney, like one thing is that like, it turns out that some people have like this MTHFR gene that if you were to take any old B12 vitamin off the shelf, if it's not methylated or a specific type of vitamin, you're just secreting it out. You're just peeing it out. It's not being absorbed.
Yeah.
So you're taking all these vitamins that don't really help you very much unless you know what your body type is. And you have all these genetically informed information to help you figure out which one it is.
Yeah. And, in the past, recommendations were sort of recommendations were sort of done in the dark. Unfortunately, it was just done by, evidence-based, of course. But in order to get the fullest effect, it's important to have the right type. Like Derek said, there's so many different forms of, say, B12, but making sure that it's the active form, that it's the right form for you. So that's where personalized medicine, what I do, the functional personalized medicine comes into play. And that's so much fun for me because, again, it's not just random recommendations. It's just like, I get to look at you as a whole person and your goals and your passion and support you in reaching those goals.
Yeah. And helping you as the entrepreneur, Vinney, or you as the listener, maximize what you can do as an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurs are movers and shakers and we change the world, right? Like with what we do. And I realize it's so incredibly fulfilling to her because she's helping to enable that change by allowing entrepreneurs to be more authentic and more in rhythm with their own selves. So, yeah.
I was just thinking, Derek, you mentioned that you only need 4 to 5 hours of sleep. I was just thinking, oh my gosh, how many people are listening to us? They need 8 hours of sleep, right? I usually sleep 5 hours to 5.5 in my life, right? And I'm up and, going.
You're ready to go. Yeah. You're outside and enjoying the California weather. I love it.
Yes. Walking 1.5 hours, almost 3.5 miles I walk. Now I started doing weights and lunges and all in the backyard and all. Yeah.
Great.
No, it's really great. I think mind, body, soul. I mean, we are one person. So we got to really take care of our body, first of all. And then, of course, the mind, which you are saying, Sophie. But that's fabulous. Let's do what can we also tell our audience a little bit more? And then we'll wrap up. What couple of things you'd like to say to the young entrepreneurs?
The young entrepreneurs. I think that first of all, you're in the right place, right? If you're young, right, and you're an entrepreneur, keep going. Yeah. I think that investing in there's 3 things that I always like to tell people who are starting out in any business that they need, right? Mm-hmm. The first thing is vision. Vision is super important because you got to understand where you're going to go. Yeah. That's the first. The second is consistency. Yeah. You have to find a way to build this into your routine. This is you now. Like if you don't take your business seriously, no one else will. So you've got to treat it like a business. You have to be there. Like for me, Vinney, I was there every morning, from 7 to 8 a.m. working on my real estate business before everyone else got into the office. I was there 1 hour early. I didn't even know what I was doing sometimes, Vinney, right? But I went in there anyway at 7 a.m. and I knew I would figure it out once I was in the office. Okay. And then the third thing that you need is mentors, coaches, networks, right? Because you can have vision, you can have consistency, but you will rapidly accelerate your progress if you have someone to talk to who's done it before, who's walked your shoes before and can help you avoid the pitfalls. So for young entrepreneurs, it's the vision, the consistency, and the coaches that you need. You need to have those 3 things in order to achieve the goal that you want. So that's the advice that I have.
Thank you. No, you're so right. I mean, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair today if I didn't have my mentor and coaches, 15 years back, 16 years back, Eric and Sophie, they are the real reason why I'm here where I am, today, because they showed us the path, right? They really ingrained in us how to analyze properties right and how not to do analysis paralysis and not to have the fear of taking those steps,
Right.
So those things are very, very important. I agree. Go ahead.
I would also say too that like for analysis paralysis and blind spots, right? This is why it's so important to have your spouse with you.
Yeah.
Because, what I would do proverbially is I would hit my head against the wall 30 times to try to make a hole in it, right? And then Sophie would come by and she'd be like, hey, why don't you use a hammer? Here you go. And then you can just do it, right? That's kind of like how the whole business has grown, right? Is that Sophie would really help with these massive like quantum leaps that happened every time the business was ready for it. Yeah. Because she'd be able to look at things objectively and identify where my blind spots are. And if you think about it, Vinney, there is no one else in this planet that wants your success as much as you, as your spouse. There's no one else. It's impossible. It just doesn't make any sense, right? So if you're missing out on that opportunity to sit down and have that vision, start with an open mind and really talk with your spouse about what do we want to accomplish, actively. And during that conversation, I'm just giving ground rule tips right now, just to give everyone what they need.
Yes.
In that conversation that you have, right? The ground rules are no negative, nothing. You're not allowed to say we can't do that, or that doesn't make sense, or anything. None of it, because there's no wrong answers. It's all positive, right? You're talking ideas and positivity. So all there is positive energy coming out. That's rule number one. Rule number two in that conversation is for every I, there should be 99 we's. Always use the word we in that conversation. Okay. Yes. And then the third is to write it down and revisit it, right? So after time goes, make sure that you bring this up and remind each other why you're doing this. Because if you have this vision, right, that means that you are both willing to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
The sacrifice on our side, for instance, was I was spending more time with real estate than I was with her in some cases, right? So she had to give me that time. Sometimes there's like a money space too. Like sometimes I have to use some of my money for due diligence on a property, right? Vinney, like we have to sacrifice that. Yep. Or sometimes I need physical space. Like I need to have a room to myself in the house. So all of these things are sacrifices. And if you ask to have these sacrifices from your spouse without understanding the vision, right? Established in positivity, rooted in a place where you're both trying to help each other, right? It's going to be very hard to achieve those results. So those are just some quick, like off the cuff tips that I wanted to pass along to the audience.
Amazing. Right on the.
Hi. You are listening to Syndication Made Easy podcast. We will be right back after this short break.
Hi, thank you so much. This is Vinney Chopra, and thank you for subscribing to my podcast and YouTube channel and Facebook pages and all the great things, and LinkedIn. Connect with me. I come live to you every Friday at 9:30 Pacific with Vinney and Bo show. Please also look at that. And also the podcast, which is my Apartment Syndication Made Easy. The book I wrote a couple of years back became international top seller on Amazon International now. And then we like to bring great guests for you every week or twice a week sometime to give you a lot of great knowledge. So please subscribe. You give us 5-star reviews on the iTunes. The better the guests we can bring, and our ranking will go higher also. Thanks again for following us and really getting the most out of it. Please comment, like, share, because we would love to bring better and better material for you. Amazing. Right on the money, really.
Yeah.
3 things you just talked about. And I hope that everybody listening and watching us can really take that step. If you think that your spouse is a little bit far, a little bit to the left or the right, it's always good to sit down, because it's the family, it's the business, it's the direction, it's the lifestyle of which you are going to really enjoy more when there is open dialogue and when there is cohesiveness and the relationship and everything. I think this episode can really open up a lot of doors.
I really hope so.
I really thank you for it. Really.
Yeah, I really hope so, because having that vision and having your spouse on board with you, you don't know what you don't know. Yeah. And I think that, on top of all the business relationship things that we've talked about, it adds an extra layer of intimacy to the relationship. Because if you're able to talk with your spouse about, goals and how to achieve those goals, like for intentionally in the next 5 to 10 years, and then you're talking about sacrifices and, like helping each other out with things, that just puts the relationship at a whole nother level, because there's so much more trust, more communication, and all of those things. And, you do hat switch, right? You do you're the husband and then you're the CEO and you do all these things.
Yeah.
It's just all these hats.
It's really, yes.
Today.
And Vinney, you can't deny that it's fun, right? Because I know you're working with your spouse now, but it's really fun to be able to have those conversations and have them be able to listen to you and help you when you're having a hard day, right? It's just really great.
Yeah, I definitely want to double down on the vision, because, like Derek said, without that big vision, then it's hard to have a roadmap of where to go. And I just want to kind of hand the praise back to Derek, because I am visionary for sure. My visions are grand and huge and lofty. But sometimes, it's really nice to have your spouse, especially Derek, he's engineer, project manager. He's very grounded. So he can pull me back down to the ground and say, okay, this is how we're going to implement the next steps to get to our goals and visions. So I think that's really important. And like, both of you are saying, working with your spouse is going to do nothing but strengthen.
Yes.
Love it.
1000%.
I love it.
I mean, we cannot undermine that at all. I totally agree with you. It's been such a great time hanging out with both of you. I appreciate that you're taking the time, but take us to your lifestyle. So you're kind of moving all through USA.
Yes. Real quick. Yeah, real quick. So we're on our, what is it, 19th?
I think like 25th or
25th AirBNB right now. And we're just like floating around from place to place. Right. And I just called so we're supposed to be going to Japan on about a month from now. We're recording this the beginning of March. It's in April. And we just found out that most likely the borders will not open to Japan. So we will not be able to go, is what I just found out about an hour ago. But we have a plan B. And, we're just going to go to Portugal, right? For a couple of months. Like, why not? Or maybe South America. Like we have the whole world open to us now.
I love it. We went to Japan, loved it.
It's an incredible place.
Yeah, it's an incredible place. It was like a different, other than, outside I don't know what the feeling was when I came back with the family we went. I just thought people were so polite.
Oh, yeah.
And so wonderful. And so, the lifestyle was so great from what I saw in everything. But no, that's great. Portugal is amazing. And South America. Look at that. That's the way to live, really.
Yeah. So we're just really like taking everything we can from this life right now, Vinney, and really, really like living your principles of positivity and helping people and
testing that abundant mindset, every single day.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
And you can unlock that with your spouse. So please, have that conversation with your spouse. And even if you don't want to have the conversation, maybe start just by listening to what's driving your spouse, right? Like listen, because even though, Vinney, you said, you may be left and she may be over on the right, you do have common ground somewhere.
Yes.
And even though her right may seem like it's right, it's actually in your direction too, just a different perspective. So I would just encourage the communication to be open and positive as much as possible. No shutdowns, no, negativity, just increase that open, possible type of talk, right? Like the positive talk and that type of thing.
So true. Wow. This is so fantastic. How can people reach both of you? Please.
I'll let Sophie start first.
Yeah, so I have a website called livewholeyou.com. And then people can also reach me at Dr. Sophie Lorn, DrSophieLorn at livewholeyou.com as well. And I'm happy to talk to anyone and everyone.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I would encourage you to, because everyone that has talked to Sophie has left a better person. So
he's so sweet.
I'm getting brownie points right now. And then for me, you guys can find us at elevateequity.org. Or you can email me also at Derek, that's DEREK, at elevateequity, all one word, .org. And then you can find us on social media all over the place. We've got links everywhere, free stuff. Our podcast is Elevate Your Equity Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're on YouTube as well. So check us out everywhere. We're just a click away.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Derek and Sophie. Hi, guys. If you like the content of this episode, please give us 5-star reviews and share this episode if you don't mind. I think this can really change lots of different lives in your circle of friends and relatives and everybody. So thank you again for taking the time and, coming to watch this or listen to this. We'll see you next time. This is Vinney Chopra signing off.